Welcome to the Sisterhood Collective podcast, where we empower women to break barriers, overcome limiting beliefs, and achieve true success. I'm your host, Laurie, entrepreneur and founder of 5 successful businesses. Join me as I share proven strategies, interview inspirational leaders, and provide behind-the-scenes insights to help you level up in your business, career, and in life. Because together, we can get further faster. Okay, let's dive in. Today, we have a guest who has embraced the roller coaster ride of life, understanding that success doesn't always follow a linear path. Instead, she has harnessed the power of mentorship, said yes to opportunities, and fearlessly stepped out of her comfort zone to fast track her trajectory towards success. In this episode, we delve into the art of navigating these crazy scribbles of life and keeping the momentum going towards our goals. Our guest, Ashley Haun, is not only a dear friend, but also a highly accomplished business owner and mentor. We're going to explore how Ashley's journey has been shaped by the invaluable guidance of mentors, the transformative power of her saying yes to these unexpected opportunities, and the growth that comes from embracing this discomfort. We're also going to see the immense impact of joining groups such as masterminds that provide a supportive network to accelerate our path to success. Life is full of twists, turns, and unexpected challenges, but it's through these experiences that we discover our true potential. Ash is going to share her personal stories, strategies, and lessons learned, inspiring us to cultivate resilience and take bold steps towards our dreams. And she does say, dream big. So get ready to embrace the power of mentorship, say yes to new possibilities, and step outside your comfort zone as we dive into this conversation with my incredible friend, Ashley. So today I'd like to introduce you to one of the most bubbliest and happiest people I know. This is my friend, Ashley Haun. She is a wife, a mother, and a mentor. She loves traveling, and you'll see lots of that on her social media. She also loves her home and her family life. Now, Ashley owns a mentor practice that I'm going to get her to tell you a little bit about, which specializes in helping entrepreneurs reach an earned lifestyle that is as great as their business. And I just love that saying, and I'm going to get you to unpack that a little bit for us later. So welcome to the Sisterhood Collective podcast.
Thank you.
Today, I kind of want to go through a bit of your journey. So it's just a few months ago that we last hosted you on our summit, which was Unleashing Your Potential, where we primarily talked about overcoming fears and limiting beliefs to achieve your success, right? And it's not easy, is it, right? And I always think about, I don't know if you've seen it on Instagram or on the Google machine at all, but there's this picture, and it's like there's these 2 lines that lead people to success, and one's like this straight linear ladder or arrow that just starts to climb, quite successfully and evenly, and then there's this other one that's got this like squiggly line that goes all over the damn place but keeps slowly moving forward. And I don't know about you, but for me, I feel like that's me. I'm like a squiggly line all over the shop.
Oh yeah, for sure. Even the way that success works, or the entrepreneurial journey, but just me as a person, like there's nothing about me that's this all the time. So I think it's only fair in everything to recognize that.
Which is a good thing, right? Like, and then I guess saying that that's okay. That's actually normal.
Right. Because we're taught, right? Like, or we think this expectation of everything should just be a forward trajectory. And we get told that story and whatnot. And it's not like that at all. But especially as entrepreneurs, like I think our personality isn't like that. Like I always call them shiny squirrels. Like we see a lot of shiny squirrels, and sometimes we can get off the path, but sometimes we need to dive into that shiny squirrel to be like, well, that's a no, or that's a yes, and I need to add it to what I'm doing. So I think in both like my personality, entrepreneurial life, how business actually works, like none of it is a straight line trajectory.
And I think that's why we're friends, because we like shiny squirrels.
I love a shiny squirrel.
I was just talking to somebody the other day when he said to me, I'm looking in some of the Facebook groups that he's, a part of some memberships. And he's looking in the Facebook groups and he's seeing all these people do all these good things. And he's starting to compare himself with a friend who is got another business and she's making such and such amount of revenue. And he goes, and she drives a Porsche. I'm like, mate, I said, you can't compare yourself to what somebody else is doing. And I said, firstly, a Porsche is a great car. You can tell us about your car in a second, Ash, because I know you've got a very funky, cool car too. But I said, you can't compare yourself based on the type of car somebody drives. And you also can't compare yourself based on the revenue somebody is receiving, because you actually don't know the rest of their life or their story there. You don't know if they're working, 60, 70 hours a week and they've got no balance in life whatsoever, or that their overheads are so high that the revenue might be coming in, but there's no profit margin there. And they might even be putting money into that. So you can't really compare yourself. And then, but conversely to that, there's all these people with all these great ideas in these groups, this outside influence. And he was saying, I'm constantly looking at all these outside influences going, oh, that's a good idea. Or that's a good idea. And I just had to remind him, and it's kind of what you just said then, right? Yeah, that is a good idea. So write it down and let's kind of revisit that later, because right now you're on a mission to achieve something, whatever that vision and goal is. And you've got to stay on that path to get there. Because if you keep diverting, you're going to be doing more of that squiggly line to reach success, whatever success looks like for you. So we kind of talked about that, and then also becoming clear on what is success, or what does your perfect day look like, or what is your current goal, because you've got to have clarity on that to be able to get there, I guess, faster, which is ironically the whole theme of today's podcast. I thought it would be really nice if you shared some of your story of where you've come from to where you are today, because it wasn't all shiny roses and it's been some shiny squirrels, and you've had ups and downs along the way. But I tell you what, when you look from the outside at you, you're going on some amazing holidays. You've got all this really cool family time. You're a successful business owner. You're mentoring people to great success and to become millionaires. So, and you no doubt have got a lot of lessons that you've learned along the way. So I'd love for you to share some of the, I guess, strategies that you've utilized that have allowed you to grow and, get to where you are today.
So I thought about this for a long time. Like, how do you tell this story? And I heard Lisa Nichols in a presentation one day say, be able to tell your story and keep the character's dignity intact. And so that was a huge part of me learning to tell this story, because it's not that anybody did anything wrong to me. It's just that I lived within the box that I was taught. So growing up in the South in the US, I was taught to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and yes, sir, and no, sir, and all these really great, polite things. But along with that, I was taught what traditional life should look like. And that was find the boy, marry the boy, have the baby, be the stay-at-home. And that's the road I went down for a very long time. About the age of 30, figured out that I was extremely unhappy. And I was constantly running from thing to thing to thing. Like, I would spend hours at the YMCA, and I would do Zumba, and then I would go to 20-minute abs, and then I would lay at the pool all day with my son. And I just never was happy with the place I was. I started CrossFit, and everything changed for me, in the sense that I became really confident in the person that I was. And I had something hard to do and something to look forward to during the day. In doing that, I met my now wife, Kara, at a CrossFit gym. And this was 13 years ago. So CrossFit wasn't like wildly popular. But there was another girl in town that did CrossFit, and we didn't know who she was. She rolls up in her fire truck, and we're like, oh, that's the girl. And she could do all the circus tricks that we couldn't do, like double unders and handstand push-ups. And I was like, she's the coolest. And she was actually going to regionals for the CrossFit Games that year. So she was like an amazing athlete. And all of a sudden, all this stuff inside of me started to wake up, and life was exciting again. And I had something to look forward to, and a person to just be with that just lit me up in a way that I had not experienced before. I then had to go through a lot of hard stuff to tell the man that I was married to that I just really didn't love him. He's not a bad person. He's not a bad father. He's just not my person. At the same time, my parents were unbelievably mad at me. And I get it now, right? Like I dumped something. I didn't actually, to tell the truth, I didn't get the chance to tell them that it got told to them, which I take ownership of now because that had to be extremely hard. Like, here's my child that is 32 years old, who's living a completely secret life that I had no idea about. And I get a phone call one day that this is like what's happening. They lost their mind, which I get it now, right? Like that's crazy news to hear over the phone. We spent many, many years not talking and not talking about it. And through the way the universe works, we have recently in the last year started talking again and having a relationship. And so in all of that, right? So like I leave my husband, my parents are super mad at me. I find the love of my life. I move out and I decide at the same time to start a business. So like this is all within 2 months of each other.
No
And
pressure.
no pressure, right? Like go big or go home. But I started this business because it was a CrossFit gym and I had done my research and the town that we live in could handle another CrossFit gym. And I just love to teach people to squat and do pull-ups and all of that. What I learned along the way with that is I needed help because I was great at coaching, but I wasn't great at running a business. And I didn't know really how. Like I used all these past experiences that I had of working 1,000 different random jobs of like running permits for housing and being in customer service and all that stuff to pull together somewhat of a business. But I needed somebody that had gone before me and done the thing. So we were open about 4 years. And if you know anything about the CrossFit community, like people get super tight. You have what you think are friendships in the gym. And we got told one evening that all of our coaches were starting their own gym and they had told everybody in the gym but us, and they were taking 40 clients with them. And here's the best part of that story is we were just on vacation with them in the Bahamas like the week before.
And they didn't say anything. There was no kind of like inkling there.
Nope. There was some weird stuff that had happened where like I would get a phone call that would say, "Hey, Ashley, this is so-and-so with the sign company. We heard that you needed a new sign for this location." And I'd be like, "No, I didn't call you. That's weird." I called them and said like, "Hey, this is strange. Do you know anything about that?" And they're like, "No, we don't know anything." Come to find out, they were using my name and my location to get estimates for their business. So anyway, so that happens. And I was like, this is a moment. If I don't figure this thing out, I'm going to lose my business. And my mother said something to me that probably top 5 like things that changed my life the most in a moment of like anger and just being upset with me. She said, "Ashley, you never finish anything. You quit everything." And I was like, watch me go. I will never quit another thing in my whole life. And so I reached out to my mentor, Chris, and said, "Help." And he sent me back a one-liner. And at the time, I didn't understand it at all, but now it makes sense. He said, "Ashley, if you're going to be in competition with anyone, you want it to be them." And it's a dark motivator. Now, dark motivators don't last forever. It's not healthy to live on a dark motivator, but it's what I needed to get it together to start making my business truly successful. So life just kind of evolved from there and things got better and we recovered from that. What I discovered next was that I just really love helping other people with business. And my next phase of it is I really love to help people design a lifestyle that they have earned through their business. Because if you took a survey of 100 business owners, especially small business owners, 80 of them would say, "I'm terrified to post my cool new car. I'm terrified to say I'm going on holiday for a week." And I don't think big business is sitting around worried about that. Or somebody that works for somebody else for a traditional 9 to 5 is worried about that. So why are we doing that as small business owners and entrepreneurs?
That is so true. And that is one thing that I think a lot of small business owners really struggle with, right? From a mindset perspective. And I think it's one of the things that prevents them from scaling up. And, when they get stuck working, as we all know, in the business, not on the business, which is allowing people to grow and then, maybe diversify or anything. But anyway, I want to take this back just a second, because you just said, too scared to post their new car. Now, you've just posted your new car. So tell us a little bit about that, because I think it's really quite cool.
So as an entrepreneur, everyone can probably relate to this, right? Like the things we want change over time. We reach a goal and we're like, okay, cool. We're going to learn to celebrate it. Next goal. The most consistent thing in my entire life that I ever wanted was a 1965 Ford Mustang coupe. And I would get to these points in life where I would look at them online and I would be like, oh, I could do this. I can, but something would hold me back on actually moving forward and buying it. And so about 6 months ago, I decided I was going to do it. I'm at I thought, okay, my boys are mostly, half of them are grown, so we don't need like a family car anymore. And I'm going to make this my daily driver. This is what I thought. I'm going to make this my daily driver. I just am so excited about this. So I started doing the research. I talked to some friends that know a bit about cars. I found her name is Renee Speedwell. I named her. I found her in a couple of states over, and a gentleman by the name of Mr. Culver had her. And bless his heart, he was like 90 years old, and he had this car and redone it and whatnot. He thought I was crazy because I never went and saw it. I just bought it sight unseen and had it shipped here to Florida from South Carolina. And so absolutely adore this thing. I think it's so cool. It's my one thing that has nothing to do with business or my jobs or my kids or my wife. Like, it's solely mine. And so when I need something to completely get away from, I'm learning all about how a car operates. Like, I didn't know a single thing about a motor, a radiator, any of that. And so I'm going to mechanic school, basically.
Oh, that's cool.
To learn how to fix things, because it's a really old car. It has a newer motor in it, but still stuff happens.
I'm not sure Renee Speedwell would like you to be calling her old, but she's quite youthful. So just to confirm, that's the car's name, right? Renee Speedwell.
That's Renee Speedwell is the car's name.
So I can just see you and it's a beautiful black Mustang, and I can just see you and Cara kind of Thelma and Louising down the highway, having a ball of a time.
Yeah. The funny thing is, it's like the fastest car ever. And I haven't even put it into fifth gear. Like, I'm such a granny about this situation.
One day you'll get the opportunity to floor it, as it should be. Right. Well, congratulations and well done for doing that, because so many people don't spoil themselves or think that they deserve to buy themselves something like that. And I think we should. And I absolutely think we should be proud of it.
Yeah, right.
You wrote a post, I think yesterday or today, that said, celebrate your wins. And who else here is celebrating your wins every day or whatever? And that's something that you did, that was a big win for you. So you talk about it and you tell people to celebrate your wins, because we should reflect in the power that has, but you're living by that example as well, which is really cool.
And not everybody, right? Like I bought the car, I posted the car. Not everybody is going to celebrate with me, right? Like, not everybody's going to be excited for me, but those that are the people that you really want to pay attention to and put more of those people in your life. But you cannot not post the car or not buy the car because of the handful of people that are not going to celebrate with you. Because really what they're trying to do is just keep you where they are, because that makes them comfortable. I have a mentee, and I'm so proud of him because we've had this conversation, and he bought a Wolf stove, which is like the Mac Daddy of all stoves, and he posted it. And I was so proud of him because he's had people that were clients of him in the past say things to him like, oh, well, it must be nice to have X, Y, and Z, or, I'm sure glad my money's paying for that. Like, that's just one, not nice. But two, that should not stop you from doing the things that you want to do and celebrating them.
And as you say, the big companies aren't having to deal with that at
right.
all.
Is Richard Branson hiding the fact that he owns an island? I'm going to say no.
I'd like to be invited though, and it's on my list. You coming 100%. With me?
100%. Yeah. 1,000% I am there.
So I'm going to take us back to what kind of our topic was about, because we diverted with a really cool, sexy car for a hot second, which is cool. But one of the things we're talking about is that you had a pretty profound moment at your gym, at your business, where you lost all your coaches and, 40 members, which is a significant dip on your revenue. I imagine the vibe of the gym, I imagine morale, and also your mindset, right? What was the thoughts going through your mind, and how helpful was the mentor? And what made you get a mentor in the first place?
What made me get a mentor was that I realized that there were things that I didn't understand and that this person did. And they could hold me accountable to doing the things too. Because any great mentor is unafraid to give you all the tools. Like, here's all the stuff. A great mentor will help you take action, focus, and give you like the exact steps to do. And so I needed that extra layer of things. Like, I would listen to the podcast and I would, try to implement these things on my own. But then I didn't have the accountability to really follow through. And this is where most entrepreneurs and small business owners fall, is from, we're pretty good at like 0 to maybe 50%. What we're not good at is the 50 to 100% complete. And that's the part that I was missing, was that. That's what I needed. And so I also needed someone that understood. It can be a very lonely world to be a small business owner, to be an entrepreneur, like to have these conversations about not everybody's going to celebrate everything with you, and to have a community and person that understands all of those aspects, for me, is part of what I needed.
So do you credit that mentorship as, I guess, towards your success of getting this business from, I guess, a bit of a dip into the current situation it's in, which is doing amazing?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I can't even imagine where I would be without that. I think I would still, my perfect day, like how I want to live my life, is not coaching at the gym anymore, right? I have coaches and I have a general manager and I have a social media person and a joy person. And I would have never gotten to this place if it wasn't for my mentor and mentorship. I just wouldn't have known what to do. I have a friend, and he passed away about 6 years ago. And I was thinking about him the other day, and he had this conversation with me because he owned a business in town. And he's like, Ashley, you can never find the right people to do the job the way you want it done. And because he would get up in the morning, he would go run, he would do CrossFit, he would kiss his family goodbye, he would go to work, he would come home for dinner, and he would go back to work. And when he passed away, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm not going back to work in the afternoon, in the evening, when my kids and family are home. And so I wanted to make sure that I had the skills necessary to scale the business to a level in which it didn't need me at any point during it.
I mean, I've had a mentor for quite some time as well. And I owe a lot of my success to, in fact, all of my success to that, for sure, because there is so many courses out there. There is so much information. There are so many tools. There's a lot of free stuff, and all that's great. But I think what you just said was, people are good from 0 to 50%, but it's that final 50% or closing off a task and getting the most out of it that I never really did that well either. And mentorship has helped me through that. But all the tools in the world, if I don't know how to implement those tools or use them to the best of my ability, then I'm not going to get my business or my personal goals to where they need to be. And I've always found that mentorship, they listen to me, they listen to what I want and the type of lifestyle that I would like to live. And then generally got like 19,000 things going on. And they're like, you know what, you just need to focus on A, B, and C. I'm like, okay, that I can handle. Right. So I get clarity, I get clear action steps, and then I crack on and do those and,
Mm-hmm.
and keep moving forward and growing, which is, what we're all trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about your business. So you've had a mentor. It's obviously been very successful for you. You still have a mentor, and now you've actually started your own mentor practice. So what do you do to help people?
So what we do is we first look at their business and we make sure that the business is shored up so that it can be successful in the lifestyle they want to lead. So it's looking at, okay, these are our low-hanging fruits. These are the things that we need to make a little bit better. These are the systems we need to create because I want this lifestyle. And I just got a new client last week, and his goal is to buy a house on the beach. And he wants to spend his mornings walking on the beach. He wants to meditate in the morning. And then he wants to go into the office around noon, do some stuff, and come home. So how I work things is, well, now that we know what we want as your lifestyle, let's make sure the business can fit that lifestyle. And what things do we need to do in the business to start bringing in the revenue to purchase a house on the beach? Because that's not going to be inexpensive. And then do we have the staff and the systems in order to make sure you don't get bothered till noon when you go in? And if you decide like, hey, I want to take a 2-week vacation, is the business supporting that? Is it paying for it? All of that good stuff.
Yeah. And you know what? So what we're going to do, we'll put in the show notes a link to your website and to your Instagram so people can check you out and check out Renee, the car as well.
Renee Speedwell, yep.
Which is important. Well, that's exciting. And that person really needs to know what sort of lifestyle. So like we say, live your best life. What does that look like to you? Yeah. And then you design a business to meet the needs of living that lifestyle in the future. So then you create that strategy in all the different lines of operation of that business to result in eventually the lifestyle on the beach, not having to be there in the morning, systems that are probably automated and working whether you're there and not there, and then drawing in some decent cash flow.
Yeah. And I use the word earned lifestyle on purpose. When I say earned lifestyle, you earn it, you do the work, you do the action steps required, and then you're so proud of it that you're unafraid to share it with everyone else because you've done the thing. And so you've earned this opportunity to, like, I can't wait for this guy to see him closing on that house and him posting it or sharing it with whomever he chooses because he's done the hard work to get there.
And I guess, you incorporate that into your mentorship program early. You put it into their mindset that you're going to be earning this. If you don't take the action, we're not going to be buying this house on the beach. Like, you need to do the work. I'm going to do the tools. I'm going to keep you on track, but I can't do the work for you. You are going to earn this lifestyle and you're going to be prouder for it. I just love that. I love that you've got that word in there. When I was reading that a while ago, when I saw your website, I'm like, I need to find the story, like her why as to why she's chosen that, which you've just shared.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of the things you often say, because I do talk to you a little bit, you said that you like to actually step outside of your comfort zone for personal and professional growth. So tell me, have you got some examples there of where you've stepped outside and embraced discomfort in your own journey?
Yeah, I do this in 2 ways pretty often. The first way is just in physical hard work. I love a challenge that is physically hard because it gives me the opportunity to strengthen my mindset. Your body can keep going. It's often your mind that gives up. So I choose to do crazy events or, write really hard workouts and be a part of things that push me to grow my mindset. So that's one way. The other way is I really put myself in rooms and in front of people that make me uncomfortable. Because if I become comfortable in the room that I'm sitting in, I'm no longer needed in that room. I'm no longer growing in that room. So I do it in both of those ways because my mind is getting stronger. And then when I go to step into that uncomfortable space, I know that I have the skill set necessary to hang in there and not let the fear of being in there get a hold of me and then make me back out of things.
Okay, I'm going to take you back on a little journey here. I don't know who decided to do this, you or Cara, but you guys decided to do some sort of like 7-day. All I remember is that you were in a boat in the ocean and there was water coming in. Tell us what that was, what that little event was. That was a little bit crazy for most of us. Pretty impressive that you even did it in the first place, but it was hard along the way. What pushed you through and why did you even say yes to that?
So we were on a television show called The World's Toughest Race. It's on Amazon. If anybody wants to check it out.
The name of that alone gives it away. The World's Toughest Race.
So I did not know that that's what I was signing up for. I'm going to be completely honest. What I thought we were trying out for is the Amazing Race, which is like totally different premise, right? So we make this video. And lo and behold, we get picked to be on this television show. And it's Cara and myself and 2 other guys. One guy we were friends with at the time, the 4th guy we'd never met in our entire lives. We get the 10 days. So it's a 10-day race. And they say, okay, here's the skill sets you need. You need to be able to sail. You need to obviously build a mountain bike, rappel down a mountain climb. Like it was wild.
Don't you do that at CrossFit?
No, not even close. Like the thought of doing this thing made when I came home from it, any workout, any CrossFit workout, anything you put in front of me, I was like, it's never going to be a 10-day race in the Fijian jungle. So like everything seems possible. So we get to Fiji and Cara and I start to figure out very quickly that our team is just a hot mess. Cara and I are pretty small. Like I'm 4'10". She'll tell you she's 5'2", but I think she's full of shit. We're pretty small, but we're strong. And our other person that is our teammate, he is just head over heels in love. And so he just wants to ask this girl to marry him on television. Like that's what he's there to do. The other gentleman, we find out that never completed any of the training plan to get ready for this. So Cara and I have this like middle of the night conversation of, hey, we're going to need to carry this team. Like if we're going to do this, it's up to her and I. The race starts and we take off. And the first portion of things is supposed to be a paddle and then a sail into the Pacific Ocean with a Thamakaw, which is an ancient Fijian sailboat that we had to build. We get out there. There's not wind. There is not like I could blow harder than what was happening. Like it was Lake Pacific out there. So we couldn't sail. So we had to keep paddling. This went on for about 4 days between like climbing volcanoes and paddling more and all this sort of stuff. We get to this moment and there is a storm coming. And here in Florida, we have afternoon thunderstorms where the 2 winds from both sides of Florida meet and cause these really tremendous thunderstorms in the afternoon. So we're pretty used to it. The same thing is happening in Fiji. They have the same type of weather pattern. And so we know like this is about to get real. Lightning and, now all of a sudden there's wind. And I look around and I was like, our team has completely failed. And so we didn't have teamwork at all. And I knew the race was done at that moment. And so when I got home from that event, I realized how much your team is everything. And you cannot finish a race, you cannot accomplish the lifestyle you want unless you have people that are supporting each other in this endeavor. And so it was like a giant check mark on you need mentorship, you need friends, and you need masterminds that are all about what you're trying to do and everybody's working together.
I'm still laughing at it was a bay. I'm like, did you stop and actually look for a second and go, God, this is gorgeous, until it wasn't?
Yeah. It really, like there was these moments where you're like, I'm in Fiji and the water is crystal clear and look, there's all these beautiful fish. And, like there was those fleeting moments, but you're still like, you got to keep moving. Like there is no time to take it in.
I remember when you came back, and we must have done a Zoom call, or the four of us girls, we all got on from different parts of the world and had one of our monthly kind of catch-ups. And you were telling us about this, and you're like, you were swearing, and you're like, I'm in the middle of the ocean, and there's wind going everywhere, and no one's doing anything, and there's water coming in, and I feel like we're sinking, and I just stopped. I think if I recall, you just went, I just, spit my dummy and just kind of like stopped. But like the only thing you could do at that point was literally keep paddling, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing too. So we were stuck between two islands. So what happened was there was an incoming tide that was pushing us this way between the islands. And then the way that the storm was blowing was this way. So we were literally stuck in this one place and could not get out with our little tiny boat that was sinking. And so it was such clarity on like kind of how life works and how you get in these situations, but how you get out of these situations. And then once you do, like, what do you do with the learning that you took from it?
All right. So that's one example. I'm not necessarily going to recommend that to anyone.
Don't do it. Not worth it.
So that's the physical activity that you do to put yourself under pressure to learn and to grow. And then the other one is that you like to go into a room where you're going to be uncomfortable. You say yes to something and you put yourself in that position. Can you give us an example of why you say yes, or what has been something that's been thrown at you and you've been absolutely petrified, but you said yes and you went and did it anyway, and what you got out of doing that?
Anytime I want to move up a level in my businesses and my personal life, like anything like that requires me to say yes and to apply for, put money towards something that I know is going to give me the tools and the accountability to get to the next level. And what I always experience, I'll set these goals and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to do X, and then I get to X, and then I get the, okay, yes, pay for the thing, come join us. And I have moments of, I definitely don't belong here. Like, I never even thought that what they're telling me is a possibility, or I'm the tiniest fish in this sea. These people are making millions and I'm not, like, whatever that is. And what I have to do is just keep doing the work, right? So like, I grew up on a farm. There was work. There was physical hard work that needed to be done. In order to be in the race in Fiji, there was physical hard work. The same thing applies to our businesses. Like, sometimes sitting down to write a post or a blog or have an uncomfortable conversation, it's the same exact principle. Just do the work. And I heard the other day, they took billionaires and they looked at their 3 common personality things. And one of them was they delay gratification all the time. And I think that's where that's where you do the work. You delay the gratification or the uncomfortableness or the comfortableness of what, I could stop working and go hang out on my couch for an hour. No, like, write the blog post, call the next client. And so putting myself in those rooms where I'm the tiniest little fish in there makes me do the work, because honestly, like, I don't want to look like the little fish forever.
It's funny you say that. Like, there's days sometimes where I'm overwhelmed by the amount I've got to achieve in, say, 36, 48 hours. And I sit there and it's Friday or Saturday night. And I'm like, what am I doing? And then I have this little argument with myself, like, I should be out having dinner with friends, or I should go and do this, or go to the beach for a few hours, or go for a really long walk. And of course we should do some of that. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, I've got to write this next module, or I've got to write we're writing the news chronicle and I've got to meet with the girls, or whatever. And, I say we sometimes sacrifice certain things to get where we are. I know there's a lot of people that think it just lands in your lap somehow. And I don't know how they think that, but they don't understand the sacrifices that you make, that you don't necessarily go and have that nice lifestyle all the time. I mean, I like to work hard, play hard. So I feel like I've got a good balance. I think you have a pretty good balance too, with the way you do a lot of traveling, and you got family balance, but you work really, really hard, and people don't see the behind the scenes. But I do agree with that, I guess, philosophy, in a sense that I do work really, really hard, but then I like to celebrate that whether that's travel or going out for a long lunch with the girlfriends or whatever.
Yeah.
Does that mean I'm going to be a billionaire? Is that my trajectory? Is that where I'm headed?
That's check the box.
I felt like I've just put that out to the universe. So we'll see what happens.
That's how it starts.
So one of the things that you said earlier is really important for you was, having that support network and surrounding yourself, with like-minded people that usually are ahead of you, right? Or have, I guess, not a subject matter expert, but expertise. They have some sort of expertise in a different space that maybe you're not so good at. And I mean, I know we're both in a mastermind ourselves, and I also host one. But what I've certainly learned from that is that there's people that are doing more than me. There's people that are doing things that are completely different at me, different things than what I am, but I'm learning so much from that. So tell me a little bit about what you're getting out of or participating in those groups, what that's done for you, for your growth.
Yeah, I had always been like one-on-one mentorship, and the move over to a mastermind took me a bit to understand how a mastermind works. A mastermind, I think you need both. I think you need the unbelievable accountability of like a mentor and, stay the path, clear action. But I think the mastermind is super helpful in you have a group that has individual expertise, and you get to pull from each one of them what they can help you with or what they've gone before you and done. And so if you imagine it this way, like say there's, 60 people in your mastermind. Well, now you've got 60 individual experts on one thing or another that can help build your trajectory faster than if you were just by yourself.
Yeah, the difference that I found with the mastermind, I guess, is that with mentorship, as you say, they've been there before you. So they've learnt the lessons and they're going to give you recommendations on exactly what to do. In the mastermind group, I feel like there's so much more collaboration. You're sharing resources and knowledge, and everybody's giving. You might have someone leading it and facilitating it, and maybe they've done quite a bit as well, but everybody in that group is offering something to that group to help each other, climb.
And relationships are super important in that group. You have to be unafraid. That's one of those rooms to step up, step out and say like, I don't know, help me, right? Like asking for help is one of the best ways that you can build speed. And so in a mastermind, you have those people that are in it. They're alongside you. They're doing the same things as you, but you can ask for help from them, and they're there to support you. Really, kind of in a, and some of the best friendships that I've had in a long time, I've developed through those mastermind type groups.
Can you share any stories where you feel like connecting or networking with some of these people have led you to really significant opportunities or growth?
Yeah. So those relationships that are created in a mastermind are ones that, they become your girlfriends. They become the people that I sent a text to a friend of mine yesterday, and I was like, I just need accountability for this one thing, and I know you'll hold me to it. Right. So I've been listening to a particular podcast and gives tons of great action steps in there, but I just kept consuming podcast after podcast after podcast, but I wasn't taking action necessarily on some of those steps. And so my fellow mastermindee and my friend, I sent her the quick text and I was like, hey, I need accountability to this. And she was like, great, got you. Right. I just needed to put it out into the universe. I needed to tell it to a like person. And now I'm more likely to do the thing.
I like that. That's good. So accountability, right? Is having that person. It's not always going to be, a close personal friend or a family member. Sometimes it could be, or for you, it's been someone you've met through one of these groups that's now your accountability partner. It's going to help you or ensure that you do the work to get where you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah. And I found in the masterminds too, like the relationship is a little bit more informal. And so I think that's one of the beautiful aspects of a mastermind is that there's not a huge amount of formality in how we operate. And I think that is a huge benefit to them.
I also find that there's no one just hanging out in the mud. Like they are action takers, right? They are driven, they're ambitious, and they get things done fast. And that kind of it motivates me to want to move faster as well. So I kind of like jump on the coattails of that energy, right? And then you just take off.
Right. And at the same time, like when thinking about like the lifestyle stuff and enjoying the earned part of things, they're really good at that too. Like they are really good. Kara and I, we got deterred a little bit by a sickness, but some of our friends from the mastermind, we were supposed to go and hike a super hard mountain in 24 hours, right? Like those are the people that are like, great, we're going to show up, we're going to do the thing for 48 hours, and then we're going to head home and we're going to get back to work. Like they're great for both sides of it.
All right. So do you have any, I guess, final advice for anyone aspiring to accelerate their success?
The biggest thing that has helped me in success is being relentless in my dreams and my goals. And I don't let anyone or any one event or any combination of events stop me from overall moving forward. They may make me pause. They may make me doubt myself for a minute, but I believe in me and what I'm trying to achieve to help other people tremendously.
So dream big and stay on your own path.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So look, I appreciate everything that you've said today. Some of the biggest takeaways that I've noted down here that you've said are things like surround yourself with like-minded people, get accountability partners, use a mentor to move faster towards your goals and have that very clear action and clarity. Use mastermind groups to collaborate, and it's a little bit more informal, but it's fun, and everybody else is sharing resources and knowledge of things that you wouldn't, necessarily know much about. You also have mentioned that your health and your fitness, it matters.
Mm-hmm.
And you also said you say yes, getting uncomfortable, because it allows you to grow. And the very last thing was do the work and earn it, and then enjoy and reap the rewards.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much for joining the Sisterhood Collective podcast today. As I said, we're going to put some of your details in the show notes so people can find you. But I appreciate all your time today, and I look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us on the Sisterhood Collective podcast. Remember to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you want to be the first to hear what is new at Sisterhood Collective, you can find out more on our Instagram, or you can sign up to receive our weekly newsletter and let the good times continue to roll. Now it's time to turn your clear vision into bold action. I'm Laurie Drummond, your host, and until next time, keep striving to live that best life. Take care, and we'll see you soon.